The bathroom smelled like bleach and fear. Antonio sat on the closed toilet lid, shirt cut open, a deep slice along his side. Blood ran warm over the towel I pressed to him. The club's bass shook the tiled wall like a hard heartbeat. Someone shouted in the hallway in rough Neapolitan. I slid the lock. He reached for my wrist, fingers slick, eyes steady. "Don't," I said. He smiled like pain was an old friend. "You don't scare easy, do you, Naomi?" I didn't, but that night I learned the cost of staying. My name is Naomi. I was born in Torino, where the streets run straight and clean, and winters cut your breath short. I grew up with trams, fog, and careful people. I knew the smell of coffee at the bar every morning, the sound of bikes on stones, the way the mole looks when the sky is white. My mother came to Italy before I was born. She cleaned offices, cared for old people, and cooked stews that tasted like patience. My father left when I was 10. After that, I learned to pack my own lunches, braid my own hair, and mend the small rips life makes in a week. I loved music. I loved cooking. I loved quiet nights when the city felt like a room you could cross in 3 steps. But my life was stuck. The job I had went nowhere. The man I dated wanted a version of me who nodded more and spoke less. I looked at myself in the mirror one day, long curly hair fighting the tie, eyes tired, mouth flat, and I said, "Go." So I packed a suitcase, hugged my mother tight, and took the train south. Naples, a city of heat, salt, and voices, a city that moves like a fast song and bites like one too. The bay curved like a smile that might be real, might be a warning. Vesuvius watched everything. Laundry hung over narrow streets. Scooters slid past like fish. People talked with their hands and their whole bodies. I found a small room in the Quartiere Spagnoli. 4th floor, no lift, balcony barely big enough for a plant. The room smelled like old sun on stone. The fan rattled. When I bent over the sink to wash my face, I could hear the neighbor frying peppers and cursing his team. From the street, a woman sold cigarettes one by one and knew your name by day 2. I liked it. It felt alive, even when it was loud. I felt alive, even when I was scared. I had a number on a paper napkin. "Call Marco, Velvet." I called. He answered on the second ring. "Pronto." "Hi, I'm Naomi. I just moved from Torino. A friend said you might have work pause." "Where are you from?" "Your accent Torinese, but my Italian is fine, and I speak English. Come to the back door," he said. "Ask for me." 6 o'clock, Velvet was a nightclub near the port. Neon lips over the entrance, a velvet rope that made people remember manners. The front was show. The alley was the truth. I found the black door, looked up at the moving camera, and pressed the buzzer. Click. A narrow hall, beer and mop water. Marco met me by the crates. He was short, quick, wore a chain, and had eyes like a man who can count without using his hands. "You Naomi?" "Yes." "You bartend?" "I learn fast." "You count cash?" "Better than I fake smile." He laughed. "Trial tonight, 7. Black shirt, black pants. Don't be late." I wasn't. At 6:30, I stood behind a long bar that glowed like a low fire. Mirrors turned faces into stories. Lights made everyone look better than their day had been. The DJ tested the speakers, then tested them louder. A barback shoved crates under the counter. A woman named Val, box braids tight, rings on 3 fingers, showed me the register and the call list. "No free drinks," she said. "Smile if you feel like it, don't if you don't. The boss likes workers who are real, the boss?" I kept my face blank. She flicked her chin toward a gray door at the back, near the office. "You'll see him." I saw him at 10. The room ran hot. The music had a pulse you could feel in your ribs. Then the air changed, like the pressure dropped. He came in without hurry. Tall, broad shoulders, slim waist, a dark suit, no tie. Tattoos slipped under his cuffs like waves of black ink. His hair was short, clean. His jaw was cut like it had been planned. His eyes were dark and steady. He moved like a decision. He didn't look at the crowd. He looked at the staff, one by one, like he was counting tools before a job. His gaze landed on me and stopped. It felt like a warm, sharp line across my skin. I held it. He didn't nod. He moved on. "Hey," a barback breathed near my shoulder. "That's the boss." "So?" I cut a lime. Juice hit my fingers. I licked it off. "He didn't introduce himself?" They stared like I had walked past a church and didn't bow. He came back to my corner later with 2 men and a woman with ice in her eyes. He watched my hands as I poured. He watched my pace. He watched the way I told a drunk to sit and drink water and made him laugh, so he did it. He didn't speak. He didn't introduce himself. Val leaned close and said quietly, "That's Antonio." The name fit. Smooth sound, knife inside. Naples talks. People outside smoke and whisper. Words float like smoke. Camorra, boss, ruthless. Cash that isn't clean. A nightclub that is. A man who can be sweet to a grandmother in the morning and stone by noon. I didn't chase stories. I needed rent. I needed a place to be that wasn't a lie. I did my job. I stayed myself. I didn't fake laugh. I didn't soften my voice to make men feel tall. I moved easy. I hummed when I cut fruit. I danced a little from sink to ice well because it felt good. I wore my long curls loose because they were mine. I was careful, but I didn't pretend. I carried my own weather. He noticed. I felt it on my skin like sun. He started to burn for me. Not a spark. A coal, slow and hot. Each night it warmed. He was used to people changing the moment they saw his watch, his suit, his name. Voices go soft. Smiles grow big. Backs bend. I didn't. I said no like a full sentence. I said yes like I meant it. I didn't sell a version of me. I was just me. Carefree in small ways. Serious when it mattered. That drew him like a flame draws a hand that knows it should not touch. One quiet night, he came alone to my end of the bar. "What can I get you?" I asked, flat. "Water," he said. His voice was low, smooth, with a scratch of gravel. "You don't drink?" "Not when I'm working." He was always working. I set the water down. He put a 50 on the bar, casual. I pushed it back. "You didn't order for anyone else," I said. "Keep it. It's for you." "I don't need charity." "It's not charity," he said. "It's respect." I slid it under the register and didn't say thank you. On a Tuesday, Marco sent me to the break room to count backstock. The wall to the office was thin. I heard Antonio's voice in Italian, low and fast, then sharp like a blade. The door opened. He saw me sitting with a clipboard. His face shifted from hard to careful. "You okay?" I asked, before my mind could stop my mouth. A beat. "Yes." "You don't look like yes." "You don't play games," he said. "Not in my free time." "What do you do in your free time, Naomi?" My name in his mouth felt like a claim and a test. Sleep, cook, dance alone in my room. He looked at my curls, wild from the heat. "I'd like to see that." "You won't." We held each other's eyes 1 second too long. Marco yelled for me. The moment let go. 2 nights later, after close, the room was quiet. Lights up but low. Clubs are honest in that light. No makeup, no crowd. He stood at my bar, tattoos peeking at his wrist, the silver watch calm on dark skin. "You don't introduce yourself to new staff?" I asked. He took the fruit knife from my hand. and set it down carefully, not touching me. I do, he said, when I'm ready. You're the boss. You're always ready. I am careful, he said, especially with what matters. And I matter? Yes. The air felt full. What do you want from me? I asked. He breathed out slow. To be near you, he said. To see you when you're not pretending. You don't pretend? It does something to me. Burns you up? I said. The corner of his mouth moved. Yes. Coffee, I said. Tomorrow. No car. No suit. No men at the door. His shoulders eased. Tomorrow. We met near the Lungomare, where the sea smells like salt and scooters and hope. He wore a black sweater and jeans that fit the way truth fits, taller up close, muscular in a way that looked earned, not bought. Tattoos coiled up his forearms when his sleeves pushed back, dark waves across muscle. He still scanned corners. That part lived deep. I came from Torino, I said. I was stuck. I came here to hear my own voice. You like it? He asked. I like the street sounds at 3 a.m. I like sfogliatella warm in the morning. I like the laundry that turns the alleys into flags. I like earning rent with my hands. He smiled a little. I like the way you answer. Who are you when no one is watching? I asked. He looked at the water. A son, he said. A man my mother would still recognize. I hope you want out? I asked, not soft. He took his time. I want clean, he said. Not all at once, but more sun, less blood. Find a window, I said. He looked at me like I had handed him a map. We didn't touch that day. We let it build. The first kiss happened after a long shift. We were in the back hall. The mop bucket waited by the door. My curls were wild from work. My hands were wet. He took the towel, dried them slow, and didn't step away. Come here, he said, soft. He kissed me like a promise he had been guarding, warm, steady, no rush, no try hard. His mouth tasted like espresso and mint. I kissed him back like a woman who knew her own heat. His hands slid to my waist and paused, asking. I pulled him closer and answered. He made a low sound that sat between a groan and a prayer. His chest was solid. Heat and ink under my palms. We stood forehead to forehead, breath mingling, the club humming past the wall. I don't do halves, I said. I don't do secrets that make me small. I don't want you small, he said. I want you like this, all of you. Velvet stayed wild and clean. No hands on women without a clear yes. Fights out fast. Staff paid well and on time. The DJ learned the room's pulse. Door guys learned names. Bartenders learned to read trouble from 20 feet. I trained new staff. I told them to keep their own weather, to say no like a full sentence, to walk away from hands that don't know rules. Sometimes, after close, we stood on the balcony and watched the dance floor move like water. Light on sweat, bass in ribs. I felt joy so sharp it almost hurt. We had walked through bleach, fear, knives, old habits, and dark cars. We were still us. At home, we were softer. Kisses in doorways. His palm at my waist while I cooked. My fingers tracing the ink over his chest while he told me about the morning rush. His mouth at my shoulder when I couldn't sleep. My curls over his face when I rolled toward him in the dark, and he laughed into my hair and pulled me close. The kind of closeness that says, I choose you again, not once. I started burning for you the first week, he told me once, voice low in my neck. You were so free. Not for me, just free, I know, I said, smiling in the dark. You stared. I did not stare. You stared, I said, and kissed him to stop the lie. I love you, he said. I love you too. We met his mother when I was ready. Kind eyes, sharp tongue, pasta like scripture. She watched the way we looked at each other. Che fai qui, Naomi? What do you do here? I make drinks, pay rent, and try not to forget who I am. She nodded. At the door, she hugged me and whispered, Fallo ridere. Make him laugh. He forgets I did. He met my family on video. My aunt leaned into the camera. Sai cucinare? You cook? Yes, ma'am. Allora puoi venire. Then you can come. My mother watched my shoulders and saw they were lower. She smiled the way mothers smile when a weight is gone. Life kept its teeth. A cousin slipped. A favor came due. A good kid needed pulling out. Antonio did what he had to without dragging it into our kitchen. I did what I could without stepping into rooms that weren't mine. We held the line. We learned to fight clean. We learned to say sorry first. We learned to tell the truth before it rots. One night, a car rolled slow beside us on the Lungomar. A face leaned out, a dare in a voice that wanted us to flinch. Antonio stepped between me and the street before my breath came back. The car rolled on. He kissed my knuckles, soft. The next day, there was a story about a broken hand behind a pool hall. I didn't ask. He didn't bring it home. Sometimes a cop came into the cafe and pretended the bread wasn't the best thing he had that week. I poured his coffee steady, met his eyes, and wished him a good day. He paid. His tip grew, little by little. He walked out a shade less sure he owned the block. Sometimes I still pretended not to know Antonio when he walked into velvet in a suit, tattoos hidden, eyes like quiet knives. What can I get you, sir? Water, he'd say, fighting a smile. Later, we went home and forgot to be careful with how much we loved. Months later, a girl came into Velvet with a heavy backpack and a set jaw. She asked for Marco. He started to say no. I saw myself in her. New city, hard face, hope under the skin. Trial shift, I said. 7, black shirt, black pants, don't be late. She looked at me like she wanted saving and didn't believe in being saved. I taught her to cut limes without cutting herself. I told her to keep her own weather, to say no like a full sentence, to walk away from hands that don't know rules. Antonio watched from the balcony, hands on the rail. He found my eyes and touched his chest once, over his heart. A yes. Always that yes. I slid the girl a water. On the house, I said. She took it like a promise. Here is the truth under everything. He burned for me because I was myself. I didn't fake. I didn't sell a version of me. I laughed when I felt it. I said what I meant. I stayed free in small ways, even in rooms that want a mask. He wanted real. He wanted daylight. He wanted a window. We built it, right there in Naples, between the sea and the narrow streets, between loud nights and quiet mornings, between bleach and blood and bread and light. The most unsettling part of our story wasn't the blood, the cops, the rival, or the dark cars. It was how easy it would have been to miss each other. If I had tried to be what I thought he wanted, or if he had kept his mask on a little tighter. We didn't. We met as we were. We held the heat. We learned how to keep it from eating us. And we kept choosing each other in a city that does not make choices easy. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this story. If it moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful day.